Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. I'm using my room. I washed my socks last night. I have an overhead fan, and so they are almost clean. Dry. They are clean. They are almost dry after being under the fan all night. So there you go. My room in action. I never dried these in my other room. I dried them in this room that was a guest room. Of course, you saw the condition of the floor of that room. There was no place to put them anyway. So now, the rack sits in the corner there, and I pulled it out, used it, and I'll put it back when I'm done. That'll be tonight. Put those away. I expect to spend much of tomorrow in this room, so because the cleaners are coming tomorrow. I'm so excited. So yesterday was Tuesday. So I didn't talk to you yesterday. So Monday I spent most of the day cooking. I ended up making more crackers and making more biscotti because we don't want to run out. Ora and I need crunch. So that's what I did on Monday. And then yesterday I was going to go to my parents. And it turns out that without exception, when I set an alarm, I don't sleep. I don't know what it is. I used to have an alarm every day when I went to work. There's something about retirement and whatever. But anyway, so Monday night, I did not sleep. I mean, literally didn't sleep. In the old-fashioned definition of literally. So I not in great shape yesterday, but I decided to go anyway. Our dog car, our second car, was supposed to be inspected in October, and it wasn't because we were busy and didn't get it done. And when we couldn't get an appointment with our guy till the end of November. So we have had Ora's car as our second car and left our car at her house. As it turns out, we don't often need a second car. In fact, I don't think we've used it. We may not even have moved it since we brought it over here because I don't think she had a doctor's appointment or something. Because she hasn't actually been out and about very much. So anyway, but because it's her fancy new car that we're planning on selling at the beginning of December, we don't put the dogs in that car, so it's not a dog car. So we've been taking the dogs in the red car. Anyway, that's a long and boring explanation to say that I borrowed Ora's car to go to my parents because Dennis needed the red car to take the dogs for a walk. Anyway, so I got into Ora's car. She's got this fancy Sirius internet radio, whatever, that she got as part of her new car package. And I turn on the car, and the first thing it says is winter weather alert, 1700 today to 800 tomorrow. I'm like, So I think it did say 1700, but for some reason, I interpreted that as 2 p.m. But it wouldn't be 2 p.m. It would be 5 p.m. Now that I'm saying it to you. See, we don't use a 24-hour clock very often, and when we do, we don't do it very well. So anyway, I thought it was starting at 2 o'clock. Anyway, but it was starting at 5 o'clock. So I thought, well, we'll see. I hadn't heard anything about it. Dennis is my weatherman, and he hadn't said anything about a winter storm warning. So, I'm driving along, and I get to Harrisburg, so I'm halfway there. I've been driving for about an hour and a half. And across the top of the road, winter storm alert, Tuesday p.m., plan accordingly. And so now this is like 11 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, well, what happens if I get stuck? You know, the weather gets really bad and I get stuck there, and what am I going to do? And finally, I just said to myself, this is ridiculous. You don't have to go today. You don't have to go today. You can go another day. So I called my dad and said, there's winter storm warnings. I'm in Harrisburg, but I'm turning around. I think I'm going to go home and I'll come next week. He's like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be that bad. He said, I thought they said something about 3 inches. He thought they were going to get 3 inches in State College. I'm like, okay, but it's not my car. And it's not an urgent trip. So I turned around and drove back home. So I drove for 3 hours yesterday, but I ended up back at home. And it started raining here almost immediately after I got home. And it rained a lot for the rest of the day. I mean, we were able to walk the dogs without being in the rain, but it was damp and cold. I got out of the car and I'm like, oh my gosh, it smells like snow. Those of you who live in snowy places know what I mean when I say it smells like snow. So, but it wasn't cold enough and we did not get snow, but they got snow in State College. My brother sent me a picture. He had 3 inches by 6 o'clock and said, we're going to be snowed in. And I'm like, okay, good. Well, I'm glad I didn't stay and go. So, well, I didn't see that picture till midnight, but anyway, so I drove around and now I feel like an idiot because now I've just said on the internet that I can't friggin' tell time, but I'm pretty sure it was 1700. Yeah. So it was supposed to be at 5 o'clock, which makes sense because it didn't really start raining hard here till around 5 o'clock. It was raining, but not so hard. Anyway, so I called my dad last night because I didn't get a chance to talk to him about how he felt and everything because I was handheld on, illegally in the car while I was driving. So I called him back to see how he was doing. And he said, well, it turned out to be a good thing. I said, oh, good, because I was afraid I was being a wimp. He said, no, it started snowing almost immediately after I hung up from talking to you. I'm like, oh, good. I'm not a wimp. So he's doing okay. He's feeling a little weak. He's going to be having some physical therapy. But his breathing is good. And so he's feeling like as long as clearing up, he's almost done with his antibiotic course. And so he's doing pretty good, but he's going to be going into physical therapy to try to strengthen, get his strength back a little bit, which is good. He needs that. So I'm planning on going to visit my parents next week. So I told my dad about my problem about not sleeping. To tell you the truth, I felt so bad. I was really happy that I turned around because I thought if I tried to go home in the snow in the afternoon, feeling the way I was feeling, I thought that would be a bad idea. So I told him that I'm not going to be there for lunch when I come. They should have lunch without me because I don't really eat lunch anyway. And Dennis doesn't want me to take my mask off in their dining room, and I don't want to either. So I said, but Daddy, don't wait lunch for me. Just go and I'll meet you there. I said, because I can't set my alarm. If I set my alarm, I won't sleep. He's like, okay. Turning into some kind of weirdo nutcase. I don't even know. So that was yesterday. I didn't do very much. I did a little puttering. I got my room looking better, although when I'm looking around on my table here, I haven't dealt with some of these things. I've just moved some of these things, so we shall see. But the room will be ready tomorrow for the cleaning people, and the living room looks good, and I'm feeling really good about all those places in the living room. I mean, obviously I have a lot more places, some of them in hiding that haven't been dealt with, but in terms of what the cleaners are going to have to deal with, we're good. So I'm feeling good about that, and I'm so excited to have the house cleaned. I cannot tell you. So today I'm going to finish my coffee, finish talking to you, and then we're headed over to Aura's other house. We're meeting Kim there, and we have a long list of things to do and things that we want to bring back here for her to have and that kind of stuff. So we're going to be puttering over there for a few hours, getting more organized. It won't be the last time we do that, I'm quite sure. But Yeah. So that's so I know I keep saying we're going to do that. We were going to go over and get stuff, but we never did. Every time we asked Aura if she wanted to go today, she said no, tomorrow. But she's ready. She's ready today. So we're doing it today. We could do it without her. Although, you know, it's her house. It's her stuff, so best if she's there. And she hasn't been out of the house all week. She needs to get out in the fresh air. So that's what we're doing. Anyway, so that's the report from here. All is well. We'll get Aura more organized today, and tomorrow the house is going to be cleaned. Dogs go to doggy daycare tomorrow. We gotta comb Maisie out though. She's supposed to go to the groomer on Friday, and Gabby's gonna yell at me. She's gonna have to shave her all the way to the bottom because she's gonna be, unless we can do something with her in the next 2 nights. We're all talk. Anyway, I gotta go. I will talk to you tomorrow. Please, please take good care of yourselves. Please, please stay safe and stay sane.